Colman won the big buy-in event in Monaco this year, and close friend Olivier Busquet thinks he deserves his elite standing.
He's not just like a good player. I mean, he's legitimately like one of the best, if not the best, players in the world.
Olivier Busquet and Dan Colman, best buddies. Haven't seen a bromance like this since Eugene Katchelov and Elke bought matching chaise lounges.
Busquet's taking a seat at the last remaining outer table. Colman's up on the main stage, along with Sam Trickett. He's got Queen-Jack suited.
Yes.
And he raises from the cutoff, makes it 40,000. Pocket tens for Trickett, and he calls out of the big blind.
Definitely like a just call there with how deep they are. No need to get all cray-cray.
Colman misses the flop. Trickett a 3-1 favorite with tens.
And Jack is bricked harder here than the third little pig's house, so most of the time players are going to feel like their best option is to turn this hand into a bluff.
With the action checked to him, Colman continues for 45k.
But this is going to need to be a multi-street bluff because Sam has a pretty easy decision to just call here.
Only one overcard on the flop to his pocket pair. He calls.
He can reevaluate on the turn.
Well, the turn sees Colman pair his jack and become a 95% favorite to win this hand.
Oh, that's kind of gross.
Trickett checks a second time, and Colman bets again, this time for value, 55,000.
And really small for value, probably a little bit too, so he can get a cheap showdown if he wants.
Trickett calls again.
And the small bet keeps Sam in, and it keeps his bluffs smaller when he does decide to bluff river.
A 9 on the river.
Check.
And it goes check-check.
You have an ace?
No.
Jack Queen?
Ah, and you make fun of the guy in your home game for calling it Jack Queen. I told you, Larry. And Hot 2 Rich Guy from 2014 steals one from Hot 2 Rich Guy from 2012. Hey, it could be you in 2015. Well, the rich part, at least.
Colman up to 1.8 million. Meanwhile, at the outer table, his mentor, Olivier Busquet, has completed in the small blind. Vladimir Troinovsky has raised from the big blind. He's made it 55k.
Blind on blind and no hole cams. These two could have literally any two cards. 4 cards. They could each have any 2 cards.
Busquet calls the raise. The flop is clubby. Jack 6 deuce.
Check.
Check, check.
Okay.
6 of hearts on the turn, pairing the board.
Anybody want to win this pot?
Busquet checks a second time.
Yes, Vlad. Vlad wants to win this pot.
He makes a delayed c-bet of 45,000.
Any 2 cards.
And Busquet folds. Vladimir Troinovsky adds 76,000 to his stack. 19 players remain, 11 will get paid. The min cash is worth more than 92k, with more than $1 million going to the winner.
11 places getting paid. That's crazy. We usually pay 6.
We're 6-handed at the feature table right now. Sam Trickett has raised from the cutoff to 50,000, with Queen 7 suited. 10s for Colman.
These two again. Loser has to wait 3 months before being on another magazine cover.
Colman calls. Heads up to the flop. And that's a boat for Colman.
Easy spot for Dan. He wants Sam to continue.
And he does, betting 60,000. Quick call from Colman. Jack on the turn, giving Sam Trickett a no-good straight draw.
And Sam may just check behind here. If Dan was calling flop on a draw, he may have just improved.
Sam does check behind. 5 on the river.
A lot of players are going to bet now, so their opponent can't check behind a second time.
Wow, Colman checks.
Interesting. I think after calling the flop, Dan figures there aren't a ton of weak hands he can rep here, so it'd be tough for him to get a hero call. Plus, check raises are like the greatest thing ever.
Sam Trickett has just queen high, and he bluffs at this pot, 155,000.
Colman's managed to induce.
All in.
He shoves on Trickett, who folds.
Oh, an uncalled check raise river shove is unsatisfying, like not being able to yawn.
Well, at the outer table, Colman's friend Olivier Busquet has called Nick Wong's pre-flop raise. It's an ace-king-jack two-heart flop.
Olivier Busquet versus disapproving dad.
Check, check on the flop. 4 of hearts on the turn. Wong shoves. And Busquet snap calls with the nut flush.
Wong shoved 2 times pot while having only 9% equity. Probably not a winning play in the long run.
Will he fill up on the river? No, he's out in 19th.
Looks like his son just came home with an A-.
Back to the feature table. King-queen for Colman. He calls in the big blind. 3-way to the flop.
Yeah!
Fee is dominated. Colman has the best equity with 2 live cards. But Ryan Fee pairs his 7 and takes the lead.
The hand that's supposed to flop worst, flops best.
Action check to Fee. He continues for 90,000. Urkanov folds.
85 or?
Colman may stick around with his 2 overcards.
He calls.
And sometimes King High will be the best hand.
Turn card is the 5 of spades. Fee now an 86% favorite. Action goes check, check. The river is the 7 of spades. Trips for Fee.
Seems fairly obvious what's going to happen here.
Small in.
Oh, I just thought he was going to bet.
Very weird.
This shove is a significant overbet.
Colman contemplating the hero call of all hero calls.
What could you have, Ryan?
He's not supposed to have much.
You may be bluffing with the best hand. That's never good.
Even though this seems nuts, Ryan's rarely going to have a 7. He could have a flush, but he probably bet that draw on the turn. This is almost always a 7 or air.
Colman hero calls. And Ryan Fee doubles up.
Now, even though Dan Colman was wrong there, his ability to make ridiculous calls like that is why he's one of the best in the world and why he's won not 7, but 8 figures already this year.
And over at the chip leaders table, Busquet is raised with 6s. Action is on Trickett, the short stack. And he's all in.
Trickett attacking the late position raise of Busquet with a very small stack and not a great hand.
And Busquet calls.
Okay. Wow, I didn't even see his raise. I just moved in for no fold equity.
Ha!
Whoops.
You are such a lock to win this hand.
I was so sick to go like this. I folded so tight.
Oh, man.
He's gonna flop a set, which just gives you so many straight outs.
Oh my word.
Oh my god.
Oh my word. I'm sitting back down and count my chips.
Sam's got 16 outs.
Oh no, chips! I can't breathe all of a sudden.
That's a flush.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I also cannot breathe.
Dude, that was a complete mistake.
Dude, you shoved all in. I didn't see what you had. I looked over and saw 6s, and I thought you've got him dead here.
Oh my word. That's like the best mistake I've ever made in my life.
Well, Klein is the final table boss. More than half of the finalists have below average stacks. Trickett and Kennett are the short stacks. Colman raises with King-9 suited. Busquet, his mentor, has ace-jack off.
Well, this is certainly never a fold.
Olivier re-raises a 3-bet to 275,000.
Not an auto 3-bet. Obviously, these two know each other very well, and I wonder what that will mean for how they play against each other.
Klein has ace-6 on the button. He passes. Trickett folds the small blind. Dan Shack gives up the big blind. Action back on Colman.
I don't see Colman folding this very often, but against Olivier, I don't know.
He passes.
I had a hand that I had to open.
I had a hand that I had to 3-bet.
Did you?
Nothing like being between two good friends at a final table.
Dan Colman, down to 1.5 million. Blinds are 40,000, 80,000 with a 10,000 ante. And Sven Reichardt has kings. He raises to 160k. Olivier Busquet is on the button. With ace-deuce suited, he has fewer than 20 big blinds.
For Olivier's sake, I hope he's just thinking about flatting.
All in.
He shoves.
He wasn't just thinking about flatting.
Klein folds the small blind. Trickett folds the big, and Rijkaard's calling.
That's bad.
And Olivier Busquet is at risk. Rijkaard's kings, a 68% favorite.
Is Olivier Busquet going to finish 8th in a super high roller again?
That would be brutal. Rijkaard almost flops him dead.
More than almost. He's got less than 1%.
8-8, you win.
Ace-ace.
8-8.
8-8. Or ace-ace.
Oh boy.
Busquet now has 2 outs.
Great television.
Is that what you would think? If it happened, you'd be like, well, at least it was good television.
That'd be so sick.
Sick doesn't cover it.
Busquet needs another ace to survive. And it is another ace!
So you're saying there's a chance?
Unbelievable! Less than 1% on the flop. And runner to make a better full house.
You're taking photos of this?
I've never seen that.
Yeah, obviously. They put the kings away.
Olivier runs ace-deuce into kings and gets there in incredible fashion. Well, let's play a hand from Dan Colman's perspective. We are going to sweat with Dan.
Yes, this little stud muffin has been in beast mode for the past year. I'd love to get inside his head. Sorry, I just stopped reading there for a second. It says inside his head here.
He's raised with King Jack and he's found a customer in Scott Seiver. Morton Klein on the button. Passes. Trickett's out. As is Dan Shack. So heads up to the flop.
Bad news, we're out of position. Good news, we're Dan Colman.
The flop is king high, top pair.
Hey-oh, monkeys in a tree. Love a c-bet here.
Colman checks.
Love a check here. This play is actually so beyond me. My guess is that Dan must think there aren't a lot of kings that are just calling pre-flop, so there's more value in checking than there is in betting. We think that.
Seiver bets 175,000.
Scott's probably more willing to bet with hands that are worse than ours than he is to call with hands that are worse than ours.
Colman calls.
Like a call there, no reason to get all crazy like Amanda Bynes' tweets.
Queen on the turn. Colman checks again. Seiver checks behind. The river is an ace.
Looks like a bad card for us, but I don't think Scott's betting an ace on the flop that much.
Colman checks for a 3rd time.
Think we're fine with a free showdown, but we'd actually love for Scott to bet with worse. Keyword hopefully being worse.
870,000 in the middle. Seiver bets 275k.
Tens, nines.
Tell me out loud what you're thinking. Because you're mumbling, but I can't hear it.
Dan knows there's a lot of hands we can beat.
I can't even get inside the head for a
I'm
second.
gonna just have to call.
I'm with Dan.
Do you have jacks?
That's another reason to call. Our hand is way stronger than Scott thinks it is.
It's a call.
You're good. You got it.
We got it. Woo!
Seiver had 8s.
Tens, nines, or eights.
All that with a king?
Jeez, Olivia, I don't remember Obi-Wan being so passive-aggressive.
Good hand.
And Colman totally nailed Seiver's hand.
Tens, nines, or eights.
Yep, we're pretty good.
The sweat width is over. He is pretty good. And up to 2.85 million.
If he comes back from less than 1% to win this whole thing, that will be something.
Well, once again, he's called an all-in with aces. Morton Klein is the player at risk, and he's got ace-queen.
Aces again? Are you serious? Jealous, Dan Colman?
Remember, Klein came into the final as chip leader. And he's got 1 foot out the exit.
That's not a lot of outs.
Less than 1% is plenty.
I couldn't imagine running card again. I really can't. He's just going to be dead on the turn. Not even a deuce, 4, or ace, or queen.
Klein is drawing dead on the turn.
Oh, no way.
His 7th place finish, worth more than 177 grand. Rijkaard has 7-5 suited in the small blind.
With Colman's short stack, shoving's the play here.
He does shove on Colman, who has just 14 big blinds. But he also has a hand. And he calls all in.
Easy call.
Is the heater real?
This is how you're defining it?
Yeah.
This little
We
hand?
figured out right here.
Wow.
It's a lot just on one hand.
That was super dangerous by him.
Yeah, you need to be careful, boss.
Yeah, because now you lose one hand and your whole heater is gone. Like, he's in, no, think about it. Yeah, that was so risky. He's putting the whole heater on the line here, he said. Wow, I can't believe you're putting the heater on the line. Now he's gonna win. He knew it.
He's real confident.
It's on the line.
He's so
He's
confident.
real confident.
It's weird because, like, he's going to win, but if he doesn't, it's gonna be crazy how shocked his face will be. But he's gonna win, so it's no big deal.
Coleman officially at risk here. And he flops trips.
Is the heater real, he says. You make me sick. Look at him.
It's real.
He's actually disgusting.
Rijkaard needs running cards.
6
9.
is the only card.
No, no
9.
6 now. Give him a 9
Piano.
right now. 9 and then 6. He had ace-ace happen to him. Sven deserves something.
He gets nothing.
Another ace of clubs.
King, queen suited. So pretty.
Dan Coleman doubles up through Sven Rijkaard. Meanwhile, Dan Coleman has raised with ace-king. Scott Seiver has ace-deuce suited.
I'm gonna go ahead and fold.
Scott Seiver is not playing this hand. Pocket eights for Olivier Busquet.
These two are gonna have to play a hand against each other.
He calls in position. King-queen for Sam Trickett.
No. Sam may be moving in here, and he will be in absolute jail if he does.
All in.
He does shove.
Good news is he could potentially quadruple up.
Troinovsky in the big blind. Folds.
He could potentially triple up.
I call.
Coleman just calls.
I'm surprised he didn't reshove.
And Busquet folds. So Trickett at risk and behind. He's dominated.
This is typically where I would say domination nation, but I'm not going to. Although I guess I kind of just did.
The flop is king high. Trickett still looking for a queen.
Yeah, but Olivier would have flopped a set of eights. Seriously, it was the right fold, though.
Three of diamonds on the turn. 3 outs for Sam Trickett.
Diamond's not a factor.
Are you saying check call 3 if he defends?
I'll say against me.
Yeah.
Oh, you had 8s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Will Sam hit on the river? No, he's out in 5th.
Again. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck,
Game,
Dan.
Sam.
Yeah, good luck.
I was playing with you.
Sam definitely played the survival game here, managed to ladder up quite a long way. Now, please wash those shorts.
Me and you.
You're a teacher now?
Yeah, the sick part is at the very start I said me and Vlad. So we got the 2-on-2 here, but the chips are a little tough.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be eating them.
Coleman now has more than 6 million chips after busting Sam Trickett. Right now, Coleman and Busquet have all the chips. Scott Seiver is the player at immediate risk with 17 big blinds. Troinovsky with ace-8.
Kind of like open jamming here. Sure, when you run into a bigger ace, you get snap called, but you get little pairs and Jack-10 type hands to fold.
Not an all-in, a raise to 260,000. Busquet in the big blind has 5s.
All in.
And he shoves on Vlad.
Call.
And Troinovsky calls.
Raise calling with ace-8 might be plus EV, depending on how light Olivier's jamming, but I think open shoving does slightly edge it out.
Vlad flipping for his tournament life.
How much did he have?
16 bigs, like 2 million, 2.1 million.
It's a race, like beans versus slaw.
Well, Troinovsky flops a gut shot. He now has aces, 9s, and 8s all working for him. The turn card is a 3. So Troinovsky needs to hit one of his 10 outs on the river. It's a jack, 5s hold, and Vlad exits in 3rd.
Good game, man. I was playing with you.
Good luck.
Yeah, just too lucky. Good playing.
Chop, chop.
Сделал, что мог.
Hey, guys, wait for him to get out of earshot at least before you bring up the chop. Yeesh.
Olivier Busquet and Dan Colman struck a deal.
Olivier, your split is 866434, and Dan 843066, and you're playing for 30,000.
I know it's not for you, but it's my biggest cash.
The battle between the two buddies has begun.
I'm glad we're friends and we're not playing for as much.
Yeah.
Under different circumstances, I mean, I'd be playing the same, but I'd be more nervous.
Yeah.
Pretty stressful for Dan Colman. I mean, it's the difference between him winning $19 million this year or $20 million this year.
Right now, Olivier has the chip advantage. Blinds are still 61-20. And Olivier has raised his button with 5-4 of diamonds.
Yes, fine.
King-Jack for Colman in the big blind. And he 3-bets, re-raising to 800,000.
Also fine. You're not always going to 3-bet this pre, but it's good to mix up your play against someone who knows your game really well.
Olivier calls, gets to play the flop in position.
Standard so far. Don't forget, these two are both heads-up experts, so they're not going to make a lot of mistakes in this setting.
Well, that's top pair for Colman and a flush draw for Busquet.
Bit of a cooler developing already. A lot more chips are likely to go in the middle.
Colman continues for 900,000.
I think the play here is just call.
That's what Busquet does. The turn card is the 8 of clubs. Colman now an 82% favorite.
Colman could bet again here, could slow down.
He checks.
Maybe he thinks he can't get 3 full streets of value, taking a rest here on the turn.
Busquet still with a diamond draw.
Looks like he wants to take over the betting lead, maybe get a fold.
He semi-bluffs, 1.4 million.
Dan's probably pretty okay with this.
He calls. The river card is the ace of hearts, so the board bricks out for Olivier.
I think this is a pretty easy check call spot for Dan. He's got nearly the top of his range.
All in.
Wow, Olivier shoves.
Oh, I didn't mean check call and all in. But still, maybe he'll figure this out.
What a move from Busquet. And Colman folds. Throws away the best of it.
Busquet!
And it's Colman's button. 8-3 suited, he raises. Queen 8 for Olivier. He defends.
So no 3-bet there because it's a very playable hand, but not great.
Check.
Olivier checks in the dark. And both players flop trips.
Heater meet cooler.
Colman continues. A bet of 350,000, which Olivier calls. The turn card is the ace of diamonds. Puts a potential flush out there.
Check.
Olivier checks for a second time.
Is he check calling or check raising? Nothing Dan can do here. He has to bet.
Into a pot of 1.4 million. He makes it $1 million. Once again, Busquet just calls.
He's playing it slow.
3.4 million in the middle. The river card is a queen. That's a full house for Busquet.
Check.
He didn't need to improve, but he did.
Do the poker gods know who they're doing this to?
Olivier has opened the jaws of the trap. And here comes Dan Colman, head first. 2.4 million.
If Olivier hadn't just filled up, he'd probably just call here.
All in.
He check raises all in.
I actually think Dan's gonna find a fold here. He's got the worst value hand he would ever have in this spot. Plus, if he folds, the heater technically isn't over.
Easier said than done.
He's not even beating a flush.
He folds. He lets it go.
Show him. Good for the game. Good for your buddy.
Listen.
You flush?
Put an 8.
Wow.
So many dates with 8s there.
Right now, Olivier has almost a 10-1 chip lead over Colman.
By the way, Dan Colman definitely in the danger zone.
Well, he's got ace-king here. Oh, and he's setting a trap. He just calls. Queen-jack suited for Busquet.
I do not see Olivier checking behind.
He raises.
All in.
Colman shoves. And Olivier calls.
Here we go. It's either over or the start of a very long journey back for Dan Colman.
Well, Dan's got it in as a 62% favorite.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. You got me, man.
Well, Busquet's got 2 live cards, and if he hits, the title is his. The flop is 8 deuce deuce. Colman now a 3-1 favorite to double up.
The heat is on.
The turn card is a queen. Busquet now an 86% favorite. Only 6 cards in the deck deny him victory.
The heat may be turning off.
The river card is a 10. Busquet beats his buddy to win the Barcelona Super High Roller.
If I'd seen a movie where a character comes back from having less than 1% chance to winning the whole thing, I would have said it was too unrealistic. One of the best heads-up players in the world and one of your best friends. Any empathy for him whatsoever for a second place finish?
No. No.